Good afternoon, everybody. It's John Ross with the XPian News Daily Report for 7/08/20 this Wednesday afternoon, and I'm just really happy to be with you. And it's humid out there and warm, we know that, but we're going to have a special guest. We brought in all the way from Aurora. It was so far away. We're going to welcome Alderman Judd Lofchie and the 10th Ward Alderman from Aurora. And we're going to put him up right now. See, everything works hunky-dory here. Here he comes. There he is. Welcome, Judd.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us here this afternoon. Now, I'm a newspaper reader, and I know you are, Judd, and because we'll talk more about newspapers because that's in your blood too. I can see that. But this last week, later part of last week, the Aurora Beacon came out with a special article on the front page, and this is very important for you newspaper junkies, that it was on the top of the fold. It wasn't below the fold. That is supposed to be the highest story when they have it above the fold. I want to tell you that. Now, I'm going to put myself down, and I'm going to bring up the article here, and Judd, it's going to just be beside you there. But there's the article from the Aurora Beacon on Thursday announcing that he's running for the big job. He's going for the big one in Aurora, the mayoral job. So anyway, that's from the Aurora Beacon on Thursday. So I'm going to put myself back up there. So that was Thursday's Beacon. I remember some people call it Be Confused. No, we don't use that. It's good paper. And I like the commentators. I like Denise there. She does a nice job, that lady. And we have some good reporting there, and we need more paper. So I don't want, we need that, the voice. And that's what we're trying to do with this thing here too, trying to get more voices out there. And so we're happy to have Judd with us. I don't have it right in front of me. I'll just run down a few things that I know the big thing I know from the past, I always remember about you, Judd, is you were streetwise. You're a lawyer. You're a real estate broker. Geez, what else can we say? Oh, I didn't even put this on our list here. We could talk about your work with bringing up the Restore store on the west side. That's a big news item that we have so many things going down. This is coming up, and we appreciate that, Judd. That was part of the story there. We're just going to discuss a few of the things about the mayoral contest. And Judd, I'm pleased to have you. Let me give you that again. Good to have you. Why do you think you wanted to run? What's the purpose, or what do you think you wanted to run for this mayoral office in the spring?
John, I've been an Aurora resident for about 25 years, and the first maybe 20, as a lawyer and a realtor, I dealt a lot with the city and had mostly good experiences. But, everybody can look at someone and say, hey, or something and say, hey, we could change this or that. It's easy to look in. And I, had lots of comments and maybe some complaints. And my friend said, shut up and run for office. So, 3 years ago, I got elected to the 10th Ward of Aurora, the Far East Side. And in that 3 years, I've learned a lot. I mean, there is just a lot to learn in politics. And being a ward alderman, I think, is important. Current mayor was an alderman at large, so you don't really, I don't think in that position you interface with the people. I get calls and complaints, emails, texts every day. I mean, I average 15 to 20 a month. And so I've, learned about everything from speeding to potholes to tree trimming, sidewalks. I could go on and on and on, but
is Fox Valley?
Yes, Fox Valley Mall. The malls had issues, but we've been meeting with them almost since I got elected. They knew Sears was going to close, They did
Right.
not know that Carson's was going to close. But they are sharp people. They spent $1 billion buying 16 malls. They have contingency plans. They're going to take down the Sears and build out into the parking lot, much like Yorktown did with restaurants and retail. And then the Carson's is going to be hopefully, it's 2 floors, but one floor may be a large entertainment movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And they're working on other things. And then they're going to build apartments out into the parking lot, like hundreds of them, much like if you've been to Burr Ridge. So these are really, really well-heeled, sharp people, and we can't let them all fail because we get so much sales tax and property tax, and they're not going to let it happen, and I'm not going to let it happen, and Aurora's not.
Yeah, back to one of the issues I noticed that you had in the Beacon was about this idea of shifting the casino to the
Right.
east side by the outlet mall there and all that. Can you explain a little about that and what
Sure.
your objections are? I have objections. I'll give you more, but just tell us what your thoughts are there.
Sure. So the casino used to pay Aurora $16 million a year in taxes, and now we're at about $6 million. So with the economy going down, more casinos opened up, the advent of those gaming parlors, which we have several in Aurora, which is, and even the gaming and the restaurants and bars, their taxes have gone down. So I was against moving, and I am against moving the casino out by the outlet mall because Aurora is 1.1 million in debt with unfunded pensions and debt, John. And the mayor's talking about spending $50 million to move them. And if we do that, it'll surely be in a TIF, which means there will be no property tax for 23 years, or if there's any, it'll be minimal. So that's going to fall on the backs of the taxpayers. And, as an alderman, you have to listen to the residents. And I think I've done a good job. The people in the 1st and 10th Ward, where the casino would be, where those 2 hotels were next to Papa Bear on Farms.
Right.
The city spent $7 million buying those hotels and the corner they own. And then they also just bought 9 crummy houses east of the outlet mall, which is 50 acres where they could put it. But the residents really don't want it by the outlet mall. And even on Farnsworth, the traffic can get bad. I know because I'm a alderman near, a few blocks over is my ward.
Right.
And the truth is, if we're going to spend $50 million to move the casino to hopefully get more taxes, I'd rather keep the $6 million that cost us nothing. And in fact, the TIF that we use to build the casino downtown is expiring. So we'll start to get some real property taxes, I think,
Okay.
next year. So it's a real economic, and the neighbors don't want it. And Penn Gaming, who owns Hollywood Casino, they have like $450 million in the bank. They don't need our help. We're going to be $20 to $35 million in the hole because of the coronavirus, and we don't have the money to spend. It's going to fall on the taxpayer. So I'm totally against that.
Was that idea with that on Farnsworth there with the this casino thing? Was that going to have a hotel at all or anything
We
like
don't
that?
have, that's one of the reasons I voted against it. It was a lot of maybes. We don't really have a deal with the casino.
I see. It's up to them.
Yeah, rumor of a convention center, rumor of a hotel.
Yeah, because Aurora it'd be nice if it had a convention center, but yeah.
But right now, convention centers, think about it with coronavirus, nobody's going to conventions.
No, that's dead. That's not going to come for a few years at least. Yeah.
And I don't think we should be in that business. I mean, there's too many other ones, and I've talked to friends of mine in that business, and it's a tough business. And if you're going to compete against Rosemont, that has the casino, the hotels, the restaurants, the airport,
right,
and Chicago, and there's just too many other places. I don't think, unless someone did a study, and I'm not against it, but I don't want the city to spend money on it because we already have enough things that don't generate.
But they already have the properties, right?
Right. Unfortunately, I voted against both of those. I wasn't for either of those acquisitions. It's $10 million for those 9 houses. It's costing the taxpayers probably $25,000 a month. I'm getting complaints because we're not cutting the grass. And then on Farnsworth, we just have vacant land. Well, we've owned the corner for 10 years, and those hotels, as much as they weren't maybe great, they provided a service for people
Well,
to
at least we're hotels. At least we had some more
right,
occupancy.
right, and they were providing almost $500,000 a year in taxes and
Oh,
property
really?
taxes. Oh,
I want
property
to say,
taxes. Yeah.
Judd, if you know about how these taxes work in that area, I'll be, I don't live in Aurora. I love Aurora. I do everything in Aurora, but I'm in Batavia.
Okay.
And that base right there where you're talking about is going to be the Batavia School District's love.
Right.
I
Correct.
mean, and that's a question I've always tried to ask some aldermen. Why don't we try to get something in Aurora on the other side of the tollway to get it for East Aurora School
You
District?
know, yeah, I don't know if we have enough property. There's
I
not
don't
a
know,
lot.
but they bought
Yeah.
these properties, so I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Well,
They
you're
condemn
right.
these properties. Why don't you condemn some on that side? And you know what I'm saying? I don't
You're
want
right,
to
John.
condemn people's properties, but you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Why did they do it there? And that, I mean, everybody know. I mean, not everybody knows, but a lot of people know that that's benefiting the Batavia School
Yeah.
District, not
Yeah.
the outlet mall the same way. And
Outlet Mall, we get sales tax, but you're right. The property taxes, which
no,
is
you're only
huge.
getting the sales tax there, but the
Right.
school part goes to Batavia.
Right. Yeah. That was before.
No,
Way
it's a long
before.
time. It's not been a
Yeah.
conspiracy that some would think, but it's
Right.
been ages. That was drawn up
Yeah.
long time ago. But
So to
anyway, that
finish answering your question, why do I want to do it? I think we have a little momentum. There's a little stuff going on downtown, but I think I could draw on my experience as a developer, as a realtor, as a lawyer. I brought in 25 businesses to Aurora, and the last one during the pandemic, like you said, Restore is like the Fox Valley Mall. It's owned by Habitat for Humanity, the one at Fox Valley Habitat in Montgomery, and they're going to have a big store with the closed Office Depot in Party City, and they're going to
right?
focus on new and used building materials, appliances, furniture. That's going to be their main stuff, tools. So I was happy to get them in, and I just signed a restaurant, a pizza place, Little Pops for Yola in New York. They're Naperville's #1 pizza place. They were going to go to another spot in Naperville and Ogden, and I said, no, you got to come to Aurora. So if you
Amen.
like thin pizza and risotto and cheesecake, they're going to open hopefully in August. It'll be great.
That sounds like a nice plan there. And I think the Restore Habitat, Fox Valley Habitat, this weekend is going to have a car show
They
out
might. I
there.
don't know. I
I
haven't
think
heard
it's
it.
this
Yeah.
weekend. I'm not sure. I'll have to look online on that, but I think they're doing a car show out there in the parking lot, of course, not in the store or anything, but
Okay.
and doing a little fun things to get people thinking about their new venture.
Yeah.
And and you've been an advocate for the homeless for a long time, and Aurora's got, I'll be honest with you, I looked up my friends Wayside and Hess both got a little PP money, and I think that's good. I'm not going to
Yeah. Yeah.
argue with that necessarily, but the homeless in Aurora, how do you see that?
Well,
Is there
I,
any numbers on that, Judd, on in Aurora homeless numbers or anything like that?
my wife and I volunteer at the Hesed House once or twice a month. Every month we do breakfast, and then every other month we cook dinner for
Right,
the family shelter. But they have about 250 between the family shelter, which is about 60. The overnight shelter, I think, is about 175, 185, and then there's the third group of people that are sort of the long-term chronic homeless. I guess I don't know how else to say it
right.
politically, but they are the special group. And I've been working with the homeless for over 30 years. I started Streetwise in Chicago, that homeless paper, in 1992. And what I saw is that, you've heard the adage, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for life. Well, Streetwise, they walk in, and in a few hours, after a bunch of training, they walk out with papers. They're now magazines, 4-color magazines, and they sell them and they make money, like $1 a piece. So anyone who wants to get their life back together, it's an opportunity, and they seized it. And we've had homeless vendors become truck drivers, carpenters, all kinds of things. We had a CPA who was homeless. So a lot of people are one paycheck away, from becoming it. And after you sleep on other people's couches for a long time, it's tough. And once you are homeless, and there is a percentage through drugs and alcohol, it's hard to get out. It's hard to save enough money for a security deposit, first month rent, utility deposit, stuff like that.
Oh,
So
right.
I've always felt that we need to help them. And actually, not only is it good for them, it's good for the economy. I mean, we've sold 13 million issues of Streetwise, helped 13,000 homeless people. And at one point, we were one of the biggest contributors of the South Loop restaurants and convenient food mart, the little corner store. We had people making $40, $50 a day, which was a lot in 1992. So I think the same with Hesed House. They do a great job providing a place, and there's a pretty decent percentage, probably a third, 20 to 30% that work full time. But when you make $10 an hour, you can't afford to live. So I was very upset that after 40 years, the city came up a month ago that they have to cut their occupancy in half. This during a pandemic, one of the worst in history. Like nobody's renting apartments. I know that. So that's
You mean
just
the Hesed House was told that they
yeah,
would have to cut their?
about in half, 100 people. And then there was some
Wow,
pushback, and so the city's going to try and work with them, but they have to come up with tens of thousands of dollars to put in bathrooms and showers and a kitchen across the street. I helped them buy that building next door across the street where they have counseling
right?
and things. But it's a lot to ask, during a pandemic. So
I
it's
didn't
just
read that. I'm sorry, I was negligent. There was is Ryan Dowd, the executive director, asking to build a new building or something along that line, or what was that? I didn't read that article a
sure.
few days ago. What was
They
that?
have, yeah, they have a big building across the street. It's an old, really bad shaped
Oh yeah,
warehouse.
I've been there. I think. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they could renovate that and spread out the people, but, it costs money. It takes time to get a permit. You have to raise the money, so it's kind of a big endeavor. And hopefully, they're not gonna kick out 100 homeless people in September. That would be awful. I mean, it'd be
Are they
awful.
still at the hotel setting?
Um, the
Is
overnight
Hesed
shelter
still
is
at the
not. No,
hotel or not? I haven't followed that too well.
I'm pretty sure they're all back now.
Oh, they're
Pretty
back.
sure they're all back. But what's disturbing is not only did this mayor do it to Hesed, he did it to Wayside
Okay,
after
yeah, we'll get out to that. Okay, great.
after 90 years. He decided that they're measuring the distance from Wayside to the park wrong.
It was a
So
20 feet maybe difference or something.
something ridiculous. So 19 had to leave,
Right.
and whether you believe they should have or not, two wrongs don't make a right, and the ends don't justify the means. It became a playground because we put in a couple little rocking horses, and
Right.
then agreed to spend $200,000 to put in playground equipment, sort of to put the nail in the coffin, and that's just wrong. I mean, seriously, you're a good Christian, and
Yeah, it
it's
was I got to talk to you quite a few times on that, and I know others did too. And
yeah,
it did slow down a little. Maybe the state's attorney worked it out, so
yeah,
it worked out a little slower than just right now. You got to leave. So
right.
I think everything somewhat worked out, but there's still a need for that type of service that they were
Right.
providing Wayside,
Yeah.
just because basically can go anywheres now without having any service when they're released from incarceration.
And John, in 90 years, and I've been here 25 years, I never heard like anything ever. And some of the guys there are terrific. I mean, they all got jobs at a factory. Some had been on staff for years, whether they're
Right.
cleaning or front desk. So, I mean, it was just a sort of a mean, vindictive thing, in my opinion. And I just think it's wrong.
Right. Wayside's been at that location, I think, since the 60s. We've been over 1928 when they founded it. I'm on their board, so I know some of that information and some of these other things. And right now, I think all their programs are going pretty good, but we still got limitations, at the store and other things. And
Yeah.
I just wanted your thoughts. So Wayside is moving ahead on that, so that's I'm happy about that. But it didn't have to be that way, and
Right.
it just was ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
thank you for your support of Wayside in many ways,
Thank you.
Alderman Judd.
Thank you.
And what do you think? Any thoughts with the COVID-19 and where you think how the city and the rest are handling it? Are we doing the right way? I know schools is going to be the big thing coming up here. I'm just worried about that one.
Yeah. I've been talking to the school district, east, because part of my ward is east. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be challenging. I don't think anybody really knows. I mean, I think they're definitely planning to open in the fall, but if we get a big spike, who knows? And I don't know that the city. I mean, we did some things well. I mean, we created a fund and gave some money out to businesses, but one of my things is transparency and ethics, and it would have been nice to have a list when they did a drawing to see what businesses were going to get this money the city came up with, and I never have seen the list, but
Oh, really?
no, they didn't publish it. They just went to the people individually, and I'm sure it was fine, but I think that all the city meetings should be broadcast online. Committee meetings on Facebook. We have Aurora Community Television, which I've heard we're not going to be funding going forward, which is terrible because Naperville Television.
Oh, okay. So those city council meetings that were Zoom, nobody else could see them, right? It was just you guys.
No, I think people could see them because they broadcast them live on Facebook. And if you
Okay.
wanted to speak, you could. But I mean, we have a website, we have a television station.
Oh, I know that's happened over years. It's not just
Right.
recently. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it's gone downhill for
Yeah.
10 years or more.
And
I don't know why. And I think up in Batavia we got something fair, but I don't know. Maybe there's just not as much interest, people think, in the cable TV part. I don't know why it's dead, but it's somewhat dead.
It's not a priority for us. Naperville has like 15 people working there. They have a very vibrant.
Oh, really? That much?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very vibrant. They have lots of shows, and we don't. And it's just not a priority. Like yesterday, we had a meeting with the Rules Administration and Procedures Committee. They call it the RAP Committee. And I proposed an ethics ordinance, which I actually helped get passed. But I proposed caps on campaign limits.
Okay.
Yesterday, we discussed it, and 4 out of the 5 aldermen on the committee didn't really want to do it. And it would have been nice to have that broadcast live where we could get some back and forth with the public. But, since we're not doing those things.
Well, see, that's a big problem with Aurora. It's somewhat why I'm doing this thing, probably, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe people more should be doing this. But there's not much media besides the Beacon and the Voice and maybe a few other things. I really don't know. We can go down the list, but it's not too much. Right. And we have to beg Chicago to come out to Aurora. It's either a fire or a disaster to get them to come out, basically.
Yeah.
But
or shootings. I mean, we've had.
Yeah, shooting. Yeah, those type of things. They come out for those.
Yeah.
But or when we had that sad story a few Sundays ago, and that was sad. That was unexpected, really. I don't think. Maybe you don't agree. I think that was unexpected. What do you think about that? We would call it riot or disturbance.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I don't know how they would have known that was going to happen. I don't know. But.
No, I mean, I think the rally was planned. I think they knew they were going to the outlet mall, but I don't know that. I don't know that the property owners downtown were notified in time.
No, I don't know about that. Right.
Yeah, but I don't know that the police or the city knew they were going there. So I don't want to.
No, that's what I meant. It was sort of unexpected, and like Batavia, a few days later, everybody was boarded. I mean, Batavia, like, oh, they're coming. I don't know. It's a whole different story because it was unexpected in Aurora. It was sad.
It happened fast, and people said, "Why didn't the police protect all the businesses?" Well, there were a lot of people down there. I mean, a lot. So
that brought up about the TV. That's when I saw Aurora on TV. I did see it on ABC News. They showed looting, actually, even.
Yeah.
But we do need some news out there, and that TV channel
Yeah.
in the past was always, I thought, a good thing. And there's a lot of things they could be covering too. And like even upcoming, let's hope there's a debate between you and whoever the candidates are, if it's the mayor or other candidates, those type of things. And like you said, the city council too. But they do stream it on their site. That's good though. But we should have more yet. And so, what are some other thoughts that you want to give us before we sort of wrap our time up together here, Alderman? You want to give us a word here of what you're thinking for the future here right now?
I think the main thing is to get the budget under control, to stop the spending, to maybe make some calculated, smart cuts, not with police and fire. But we just can't do business as usual. During this pandemic, we hired 13 new policemen, and I just don't know that we can afford it. I mean, the pensions it's got to be tough to be a policeman. I don't have any problem with them getting pensions, but the question is, can we afford it? And we need to really look at the whole, all of Aurora, the pensions, the healthcare, retirement healthcare, and then, so we have to look at spending. We also have to do economic development. Like I said, I brought in 25 businesses. I think, I've got a bunch of things in the work. I think as a mayor, you have leverage. You can call somebody. You can call, Trader Joe's. Hey, can we meet with you? We got a couple sites here. Go meet with some of the people that, the stakeholders. That's one thing. So spending and economic development, I'd like to continue that. And then I think we need to heal Aurora. We really need to come together. I think we need to. My condolences to the family of the shooting over the weekend. We need to create some better paying jobs so there's more opportunities for people that are crazy enough to get guns and shoot people.
Yeah,
still some gangs. We need to go after them and get rid of them. And our police can only do so much. We need to get the private sector, nonprofits involved. And we have a lot of those. We have some great groups, Simply Destiny, Rita's Ministry. We have some great nonprofits, Family Counseling, Family Focus. I can go down the line. United Way. We have some great groups here, but we need to really kind of come together and figure out this whole, what's going on in the world, and sort of come up with a plan and get stakeholders talking to each other. Not to be divisive and to work together. And I think I can do that. I did it with Streetwise. It was a tough thing to start a homeless newspaper. We had 300 people sign up the first week. We had people everywhere, and it took a lot of politicking to make that happen. I was president of Rotary. Rotary's done great things all over the world. I'm proud to be a Rotarian, and I think I've learned a lot from Rotary, how to work together with other people and other cultures. So I think I could bring that as well to the table.
Well, Kiwanis work with Rotary, so I want to tell you that we work together. I want to tell you.
Yes, I see your hat.
I like to keep wearing this cap. I don't know, I just love it. Alderman Judd, I just want to really thank you for coming by our way. I'm going to just mention what's coming up on Friday. We're going to have Mikhail Happer-Kern. Again, this last name really gets me. Happer-Kern. I say Korn, it's Kern. Executive director, real nice lady who's a Kiwanian, also director of the Aurora Public Library, is going to talk about their new angles there, and there being a district, I believe, instead of with the city.
Right.
Is that right now, or is that coming?
We approved it, but I'm not sure. They haven't. I'm trying to think if it's formally gone through yet. I'm not sure. And I know elections
I haven't followed it as close as I should have. I should look that up. If it's happening right, what's the time frame on that? But it is happening. I know that. But
it is happening. They're not going to have elections for a while, but I'm not going to make up an answer. But I could get back to you and post it.
No, that's all right. We'll dig that up. We'll find out on Friday if the light.
All right. Yeah.
I wanted to find out before, but I know it's happening. I'm surprised a little about that one in some ways, because that just brings another district to Illinois, which we have the most districts of any state in the country. We have
Taxing
fire
districts,
districts,
yeah,
we have this and that. I think we have 7,000, which is more than any other state.
yeah.
And I go, oh, another district.
But I will say, John, that a lot of those taxing districts are SSA, special service areas.
Right?
So, they're not all like Aurora Township or Naperville Township. So,
No, I know they're different things, but
yeah,
anyway, we got a lot of them in Illinois.
yeah, we do.
We just got tons. Well, Alderman, it's been good to have you with
Thank
us
you.
here. And I just want to say one more thing. Remember the COVID-19 to sign up. We got a testing site with the VNA that people can go. That's the number 892-4355, and that's just you don't have to wait in the car 3 hours or whatever it is.
So they have it by the outlet mall too. And a friend of mine went yesterday and said she got there and only had to wait like a half hour. It wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
really? I'm sure it's less. There's probably
Yeah.
not as many going there right now when we
Yeah.
still need people going. But
Last thing, John, if people are interested in learning about me, go to Judd for Aurora, www.juddforaurora.com.
JuddForAurora.com.
Right.
Okay, JuddForAurora.com. Remember that, folks. And I forgot to say goodbye to you. I had scripts ready to go. I'm sorry. But I want to thank Alderman Judd Lofchie for being with us here. And remember that website give us that one more time, Alderman.
Sure. Judd for Aurora, JUDDFOR Aurora.com.
That's pretty easy. And I just thank him for being with us, and remember him and remember our city of Aurora and in prayer and just move ahead here with this COVID-19. It's a wicked little guy, and it's causing us to rethink a lot of things. I think that's what it's really doing, and maybe that's good. I think that's got a good side to it. So thank you, Alderman, and I just want to say God bless now and bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome.